Yo, what's up everybody? This is Unpunk bringing you a video here today on the top 5 best hero relics. This does not include sacred weapons, the silver icon weapons you can get, but just the hero relics, the gold that require the crest of whatever the weapon has to be able to use all of its abilities. Now this little list is going to be going through all of the best relics. My opinion, the personal 5. Again, this is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. You might prefer different ones yourself. You might have a reason why you think others are better, but this is my list and the reasons why. And this is also going to be covering just if you're playing a base game. This does not include certain relics that might be more useful in a new game plus, being able to equip any hero's crest or any crest on any character and allowing any character to use it on. This will also kind of go through the best character to use it on in a base game, which is the character crest that it matches up with, and the reasons why that makes it so useful. Coming in at the number 5 slot is the Shield of Aegis. What this is going to be is adding 6 to protection and 4 to resilience just for any character, no matter who you have it equipped on, so thusly adding basically 6 extra defense points and 4 extra resistance points, making it a lot easier to survive some of those heavy hits from physical or magical, and it's overall a very good shield in that aspect. But to make it even better, if you throw this on Felix, he has the Crest of Faldarius, making it a very useful perk or a very useful shield. And the reason why is because it has both Aegis and passive abilities that are activatable based on the dexterity stats. So how that works is the higher your dexterity, the better percentage chance you have of this ability or these two abilities going off. Now these two abilities respectively for Aegis will reduce bow and magic damage by half if your dexterity stat triggers it, and then the same with passive, but it does for swords, lance, axe, and brawling. Basically just cutting all damage you could take in half about, I would say, 30 to 50% of the time, depending on the stat level or your dexterity level for Felix. So that makes it a very, very useful ability, especially on a character like Felix that is very fast. He's got very good dexterity, but if he does get hit or he has low resistance, it's going to be able to help him hold on a lot better and just make him even more of a phenomenal unit, arguably one of the best units in the entire game. And that comes in at our number 5 slot. Coming in at our number 4 slot is Thyrsus, which is a staff within Fire Emblem 3 houses that you can equip to any character if you'd like, but it works obviously best with magic users. Now what this staff does is it grants 2+ range to magic when it is equipped. So basically adding an extra 2 range to any of your mage users. If you add this to characters like the Greymori or characters that have mastered their skills up to a high enough ranking to where they have either black magic plus range 1 or white magic plus range 1, it's just really going to be a very, very useful thing. It is good with, I would say, 2 characters in the game by default for base characters, and that's going to be either Lorenz or Lysethia. I highly recommend putting on Lysethia because she has the crest of Gloucher, I think is how you say that. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's how you say it. And also, Lorenz has that crest, but Lysethia is more of a tank, and she's a little more fragile, so it's better to equip it on her, because having that 2 extra range is going to keep her safer, especially on hard Lunatic or Inferno playthroughs. It's going to make it a lot easier to survive with her, and just giving her a lot more range. And then again, if you pair that with the +1 black magic range that she can get by just leveling up her Reason magic, that's going to be very, very good. Another thing that makes this such a good staff is it also grants passive and Aegis just like the Aegis Shield does. So if the character, an example Lysethia, has a high enough dexterity stats, which I know she struggles on a little bit, it will grant the ability to basically have all incoming damage. Now there is one throwback or one negative to this, which is going to be if the user does not have a crest at all. not the correct crest, but just doesn't have a crest, is a non-crest bearing character, it's going to deal 10 damage after combat. So you don't want to use it on a character that's not going to have a crest, and it is much better on the character either Lysethia or Lorenz in a base game, or if you're in New Game Plus, it's phenomenal with any character if you get them the Crest of Gloucher. And it's just going to be a very good weapon, and that's why it comes in at the number 4 slot. Coming in at the number 3 slot is going to be Liuinit. It is a lance that is best suited for Ingrid, especially in base game, but would also be useful in characters like Petra, or very fast characters are going to benefit from this if you're doing a New Game Plus. But if you equip it to Ingrid, she has a phenomenal speed growth, especially if you bring her into the Falco Knight kind of class, where she gets a 20% boost or 20 boost to her speed in that master class, giving her incredible speed. Now, the reason why this weapon is so good is not due to its base stats, which are pretty good, being at a 17 mount, an 85 for hit, giving you 10 extra critical, only has a range of 1, and its durability rather, and its weight are 9 and 20, so they're pretty standard for most of the hero relics. But it gives you the ability to use what is called Burning Quake. It is a combat art that increases the amount of the weapon based on the unit's speed. It also gives you a bonus effect or effectiveness against dragons. Now, that specific combat art only works if you have its corresponding crest, which Ingrid does have. I don't remember the name of this crest off the top of my head, but if you have it with Ingrid, she has phenomenal speed in a master class, and this is going to make a hard playthrough much easier because her speed is going to grow at about a 80%, 70 to 80%, because I believe she's at the 60% base stat for speed growth, and then if you put her as a Falco Knight, she gets a plus 20, so that's going to bring her up to between the 70 to 80, as I can't remember her exact base stat, which is just going to mean she's going to have a crazy level of speed. So if you add, for example, a high level Falco Knight version of her, and she has somewhere between 40 to 50 speed, and you use this Burning Quake, which takes 3 of the durability away from the weapon, she's going to add anywhere between 30 to 40 additional amount on top of the already 17 mount and a significantly decent strength of this character. She's going to be an absolute tank using this weapon, and it's going to be very, very good against bosses and a lot of the dragon-like enemies that you're going to encounter through your playthroughs. So that's why we're throwing this one in at the number 3 slot. Coming in at the number 2 slot, the second best weapon or hero relic you can get within Fire Emblem Three Houses for your base game playthrough is the Failnot. This is a bow that is obtained only if you are playing the Golden Deer playthrough. So yes, it is specific to this playthrough to be able to get this. And the reason that I picked this one over the other 2 specific weapons that you can get while playing through either Edelgard or Dimitri's roots is because you get this one significantly earlier, or in Edelgard's route, if you pick a certain path, you're unable to acquire this, whereas if you pick the other path, you are. So for Edelgard's, we didn't include hers because you have a hard time getting it, or you just can't. And then Dimitri's, you get significantly farther after time skip in your playthrough, making it a lot less useful, in my opinion, due to that fact. So with that out the way, the Failnot comes with an 18 mount. It has a 75 hit, which is pretty good. It adds 20 to crit, which is really good. And it has a 2 to 3 range, depending on if you are using its combat art that it comes with. Now, the crest bearer is obviously Claude. Again, I don't have the crest name, but that's not too relevant, because if you're playing base game, you're going to want to use this with Claude. It's going to be phenomenal with it. And it gives you the special ability, or the combat art, called Fallen Star. Now, this combat art is extremely effective against dragons, as well as it allows you to avoid enemy attacks in the next combat. So no matter what happens after you use this Fallen Star, which takes off 3 points of mount out of your 20 for this weapon, you're gonna not get hit from any enemy attacks in the next combat. So your next attack that you get attacked. So say you run up or fly up as your Claude character, and you're flying up on a Wyvern Lord, and you're going at the boss, you can use this, easily get some crazy damage in, and be safe the next turn from that boss. This comes in extremely handy in the hard and soon to have Lunatic and Inferno modes. This is going to be an absolute must for some bosses if you're playing through the Golden Deer house. So that's why we're putting this one in at the number 2 slot. Now coming in at the number 1 slot, you might be able to guess this, but it is the Sword of the Creator. Now, people might freak out a little bit about this because it does only come with a 7 mount, a 90 hit, 0 crit, and a range of 1 to 2. But it is the best for a couple of reasons. First of all, no matter what playthrough you're playing in, you're always going to get this at Chapter 4. Making it significantly useful and making your main character, your Byleth character, significantly more powerful. Also, it grants you a special ability or a combat art, which is called either Ruptured Heaven or Sublime Heaven, depending on some of the language differences there. In me personally, in English, it's called Sublime Heaven. It takes off 3 from your mount, which is not too bad, and it increases the mount depending on the unit's magic. So if most of you know, putting your character into Faith or Reason or teaching them Faith and Reason is very significant for your main Byleth or your main protagonist character. And so using this is going to make it more powerful to do damage based on your magic. So the more you level up that, or the more classes like Mage and Warlock and things like that you do to push up that magic skill, the more useful this combat ability is going to be going through the entirety of the game. It's also not extremely difficult to get the resources to repair this weapon, thus making it our number 1 slot. Also, with Sublime Heaven, the combat art, it is effective or super effective against dragons, so going to make bosses a lot easier to take down, as there is a significant amount of bosses or hard-hitting dragon enemies in this game, as a lot of Fire Emblem games have. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This has been the top 5 hero relics to use in a base game playthrough, so not a new game plus, but I also kind of explained how they react if you were to use them in a new game plus, just making them available for any character. Obviously, a lot of these are character specific, and that is how they are designed, so you'll want to take that into consideration when watching and using this list for your own playthroughs. A lot of these characters are fairly easy to recruit, so if you haven't gotten these characters before, or you want to get these characters, definitely highly recommend getting these characters, doing their prologue mission, because these weapons, 3 out of the 5 are going to come from prologue missions, so you're going to need to have those characters to be able to unlock these weapons, even in New Game Plus. But again, it's not very hard to get them and do those missions, and they're not very difficult to complete. A couple are a little more challenging than others, but overall, very easy to acquire and very, very useful. I hope you guys liked this. I hope this was a little less controversial than some of the previous videos, where we've had some discussions that have been a little bit intense there. So again, leave me a comment down below on what you guys think. If you think this list was accurate, if you think I was wrong, I definitely like to hear all of your guys' comments. I'll try to respond to as many as I can, as I have been for the past few days here on all the videos we've been uploading. But I hope this one's a little less controversial and you guys understand the points that I'm bringing up for why I picked these 5 and put them in their positions. This has been your friendly neighborhood Unpunk. We're going to see you guys on a video or stream real soon, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace!